In the bustling town of Aveyron, where markets hummed with the chatter of merchants and the clinking of gold, lived a man named Cedric. Known throughout the town as the wealthiest merchant of all, Cedric's success had not come from kindness or fairness, but from his relentless greed. He hoarded wealth like a miser, squeezing every last coin from his deals and giving nothing back to the community that had once supported his rise. Cedric's shop was a marvel to behold. Shelves gleamed with rare silks, spices, and precious stones imported from lands far and wide. His prices were high and his heart was cold. When a poor woman came seeking medicine for her ill child, but could only offer half the price, Cedric turned her away without a second thought. "You have nothing to offer me," he had said, his voice as sharp as a knife. "Come back when you can pay." News of his cruelty spread, but Cedric remained unmoved. Profit was his only concern, and he would not let sympathy soften his iron heart. One evening, after another successful day of counting coins, Cedric retired to his grand estate on the outskirts of town. His mansion stood tall and proud, surrounded by walls lined with gold-trimmed tapestries and jeweled sculptures. But as he lay in his massive bed, sleep evaded him. A nagging sense of unease crept into his mind, a whisper of emptiness even his wealth could not silence. Days turned into weeks, and Cedric's business continued to grow. But greed, like a parasite, always craves more. He began raising prices even higher, demanding exorbitant fees from those who could barely afford to eat. The townspeople's resentment grew, and his name became synonymous with cruelty. One fateful morning, disaster struck. A fire broke out in the market, consuming Cedric's shop and turning his treasures to ash. Panicked, he raced to salvage what he could, but the flames were merciless. By the time the fire was extinguished, nothing remained but smoldering ruins. His wealth, his status, everything he had worked for was gone. Destitute and desperate, Cedric wandered the streets, his fine clothes now reduced to rags. Hunger gnawed at his belly, and for the first time, he understood the suffering of those he had so callously dismissed. Yet pride kept him from seeking help. Who would show kindness to a man who had never shown it himself? One rainy evening, Cedric collapsed outside a humble bakery. The scent of freshly baked bread was intoxicating, and his legs had given out from exhaustion. As darkness threatened to consume him, a gentle hand shook his shoulder. "Are you all right, sir?" asked the baker, a kind-eyed woman named Alara. She recognized Cedric at once, but showed no anger or resentment. Instead, she offered him a piece of bread and a seat by the fire. Confused and overwhelmed, Cedric accepted her kindness. As he ate, his eyes welled with tears. "Why would you help me?" he choked out. "I am Cedric, the greedy merchant who never spared a single coin for those in need." Ilara smiled softly. "Kindness is not reserved only for the deserving. It is given freely, without expectation. Besides, everyone deserves a second chance." That night, Cedric stayed at the bakery, his mind swirling with guilt and shame. Over the following days, he worked for Alara, helping her bake bread and deliver it to the needy. He learned the stories of the townspeople, their struggles and hopes, and for the first time in his life, he felt something far more fulfilling than gold: gratitude. Months passed, and though Cedric was no longer rich, he had earned something far greater. The townspeople welcomed him back, not as a merchant, but as a friend. With the little he earned from working alongside Alara, he began to share his earnings, giving freely to those in need. One evening, as he walked through the bustling market, now rebuilt and thriving, Cedric noticed something remarkable. His name was no longer spoken with bitterness, but with warmth. Merchants he had once wronged now offered him goods at fair prices, and strangers greeted him with genuine smiles. One day, Alara approached him with a knowing smile. "You've changed, Cedric. The wealth you hold now is of a different kind." Cedric nodded. "I've learned that generosity isn't about giving away gold. It's about sharing kindness, hope, and compassion. Those are treasures worth far more than all the riches I once hoarded." From that day forward, Cedric devoted his life to helping others. Though he never regained his former wealth, he found something far more valuable: a life filled with purpose, kindness, and the genuine respect of those around him. And in the end, Cedric had never felt richer.